Hello everyone, today we're going to go over the problem unique paths for some Blind 75 C++ Leetcode. And now, just to be able to give a rundown on everything, be sure whenever we are breaking up the problem to fully understand, we need to check what our input is, what data structure / algorithm / technique to use, what to do with the data, and what our output is going to be. Alright, and so, to be able to break down the problem, there is a robot on M times N grid. The robot is initially located at the top left corner, grid 0, 0. The robot tries to move to the bottom right corner, grid M-1, N-1. The robot can only move either down or right at any point in time. Given the two integers M and N, return the number of possible unique paths that the robot can take to reach the bottom right corner. Okay, so we need to return all the possible paths. Input, we are given two integers which represent a grid as well. Okay, so the technique that we're going to be doing is going to be dynamic programming, where we're just going to expand upon the variables and their relationships. And so we need to ask ourselves what to do with the data. So the first step we need to do is that we are going to actually initialize a 2D grid, which will be a vector inside of another vector of integers called dp. And the second step we're going to do is set the value of the first row and first column cells to 1, since there is one cell, and this is how we set everything up. And the third, we're going to loop over the grid starting from the second row and second column. And then for each cell, I'm going to set its value equal to the sum of the cell above it and the cell to the left of it. And we are just going to finally return the number of unique paths, which would be represented as our grid that we have created, M-1, N-1, as the exact values. Okay, so first things first, we can do step 1, which will be vector right here, vector int dp m vector int, and then n. Then we're going to do step 2, initialize our rows. For int I is going to be equal to 0, I minus m, I plus plus, dp of I 0 equals 1 to start. Then for int of j is equal to 0, j minus n, sorry, less than n, my bad. Sorry about that. J plus plus, it's going to represent our column, dp of, hence the x and the y, j is going to be that. X, and so this would represent our x, and this represents our y-axis. And this is what to do with the data. This is step 3. We're going to loop through everything. So this is when we are reaching the first step, m I plus plus. We treat it as like x and y accordingly, which is why we do this. Then we're going to do the same thing, because it's going to be a pretty unique operation of this will be when the robot moves over to the next column n, which is also going to be our y-axis, and j++. Then we're going to have dp of I and j equal dp of I minus 1 and j minus 1 right here. And then finally we're going to return our whole unique set of elements, or sorry, unique set of paths. So it's going to be dp of n minus 1 and then n minus 1. Let's see if we get this right. Make sure everything is spelled correctly. Here we go. Passes all the test cases. Just going to clean this up for you folks so that way you folks can actually see it. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, it passes all the test cases. So, to be able to give a rundown over exactly our solution and such, is that within our following solution, the time complexity is going to be O of m times n, where m represents the dimensions of the grid on the x-axis, and n is going to represent the dimensions of the grid on the y-axis. And then space complexity is also going to be the same at the same time, depending how large the entire grid is. Our space complexity is also going to have said complexity at the same time. And since we're also using a data structure of a vector, in this case, to keep track of all of the integers in the path that we have visited, this explains for our space complexity. So yeah, this was unique paths in dynamic programming for C++ Blind 75 Leetcode. Thank you again for taking time to watch this. If you found this helpful, feel free to like and subscribe. If you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the comment section. And as always, take care. Cheers.